I wanted to ask you both, did you expect this election campaign to be so ugly? Marc?
Yes, absolutely, because Benjamin Netanyahu is desperate. He has a choice, being re-elected or probably going to jail. In any other parliamentary democracy, he would have resigned. There was not a chance. He called upon Olmert to resign long before it got this far. The fact that he even went to be re-elected is beyond, I didn't really believe it would happen. I actually didn't believe that people would still be supporting him, to be honest with you. As much as people have views on the right, especially when it comes to the submarine case, and not so much the submarine, but the surface vessels, the corruption is so deep and so strong, and people are ignoring it completely. Now, one of the proofs here is, of course, that people believe everything is fake news. So no news is real news. Everything is fake news. So whatever you hear, you can disregard if it doesn't agree with your views. And I guess that's what's happened more than anything else. So he had to sort of, first of all, prove that Benny Gantz and Bogi Ya'alom and Ashkenazi were left-wingers. That was the first part, really left-wingers. I didn't believe that would work, but it worked. So suddenly, no one could cross from right to left because they're left. So he succeeded in proving them left, weak. Three chiefs of staff a week, plus every other living chief of staff has now come out to support them. So every single chief of staff of the army, except Eisenkot, who can't yet because he's not officially been out long enough, every single living chief of staff of the army has come out in support of them, and yet they're left and weak. So, you know, he had to prove it, and he had to work really hard to do it, and he's had one of the most ugly campaigns we've ever seen. There's been no boundaries to that campaign whatsoever, and he's good at it. I mean, you have to be very honest. He's very good at it. He's certainly better than Blue and White has been. The Labour Party has been sort of okay, but they're not one of the people running for elections, and Meretz has been a disaster, complete waste of time.
Ruthie, your thoughts?
My thought is that you have to make a distinction between ugly politics and policy, all right? The campaign has been ugly. They are always ugly campaigns. Right now, this isn't Netanyahu's fault in particular. They're all ugly or stupid. A lot of these campaigns are stupid. I disagree that Netanyahu's claim that they're left and weak is what is having an effect here. I think those kind of slogans don't actually affect most of the Israeli public that are not morons, actually. What has affected the Israeli public is the fact that Netanyahu, at this time in history, you could say, is the absolute best prime minister that could possibly head the country. He has, for everything he has done already, is what Benny Gantz, the head of his rival, is claiming he wants to do, and Netanyahu has already done it. I really don't think that, you know, the issue is policy. The politics are ugly, but the policies are not.
But the fact of the matter is, first of all, even if I agree with that, and I don't fully agree with that, the fact of the matter is that any place that a prime minister or a president stays for this long, 13 years, it's time to go. The United States learned that with Roosevelt, who everyone will agree was a great, not everyone, but most people will agree was a great president. But the minute that presidency ended, they passed an amendment to the Constitution limiting it to 2 terms. President Roosevelt was the first one to exceed 2 terms. Until then, everyone accepted the 2 terms limit. Immediately afterwards, they passed an amendment because the realization is after 8 years, it's time to go. The reality is you go too long, you begin to identify, I am the state and the state is me. And that, more than anything else, has been the problem with Prime Minister Netanyahu. It has to do with a lot of the corruption and everything else. You begin to identify that my interests are the same as the state's interests. And that's why it's time to go. I mean, whether you agree with his policy or not, at some point, it's time for a change.